So good evening. Good evening. We're going to work on lesson 3.1 today. It says a topic of interest. And our whole topic of unit 3 is all about money. So, and how money affects your life in lots of different ways. So it's pretty cool. We do some really fun stuff, especially 3 and on. So, the bottom of page 255, I guess we're on. It gives us the initial definition of interest as a fee paid for the use of money. Sometimes it's us lending other people money, right? And we get paid. We lend the bank money to use for other things. They pay us interest, but most of the time it's usually us borrowing money from the bank, unfortunately. And then in unit 2.1, we talked specifically about simple interest is paid strictly as a percentage on the original amount of money, whereas compound interest is a percentage based on the current amount in your account. So it grows upon itself. So let's say that you get a $600 tax refund and you decide to put it into a savings account, of course, because you're super responsible. How much money would that add to your account each year if it was simple interest? How much money would be add to your account?
$30 every year.
$30 every year. Okay. So we got 30. So we're just going to go with that. It's correct, but we're going to see how we got there on the next page. It's kind of weird because I had to write down how I did it, but the next page actually wants us to write down. I had to do that just to get number 1. So write out the multiplication you did. And then our goal is to write a formula that represents how we did that multiplication.
$600 times 0.05.
600 times 0.05. Okay. And they said let P be for the original amount. So this is P. And R is going to be our rate. Okay. So we did that. We multiplied those together. And then number 3 says fill in the following table. So it's showing the growth of the account over several years, as well as the total amount of interest earned. And you can fill it in on your paper, or you could do it in Desmos if you'd like.
Oh, whoops.
So we know that we received $30 after the first year, right? And if we add it to our original 600, we're at 630. And then after 2 years, how much interest would we have earned?
Isn't it still $30?
Yep. So 30 for the second year. So total after 2 years, we'd have 60.
Oh, it does say total. Yeah.
Yeah, total from, so 2 times the 30. So total in our account would be 660 now. And then they were going to get another $30, right? So there'd be a total of 90. And then did everybody get 690?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what did we get after that?
120.
120. And we'd have 720. And then 150. So it'd be 750. And what about after 10 years?
300.
300. How'd you get that?
30 times 10.
Okay. And so they're asking us down here how we got that, each of these. So you can see that you just take a connection of the number of years past times 30, right? So this would be 900. Okay. Any questions on that table? So the next page has some good vocabulary for us. We've already talked about the definition of interest. This would all be good for your note card for the midterm. P is the amount of money we're borrowing or placing into a savings account, or sometimes we're going to see the word investment, invested. That will tell you that that's principal. The rate is our interest, the percent that we're paying or we're earning in a decimal form. Time is the length of time that we're borrowing or investing the money, and it's always in years. We have to remember that. And future value is the amount of the loan or investment plus the interest paid or earned. So I'm going to let you ladies read through this. 1, 2, and 3 kind of all go together. I'll pause the recording for just a moment. What did we get for number 1? We want to be able to use symbols to explain what we did.
I was thinking that was I equals R times T.
Okay, did we just multiply by the R and the T, or P too?
See, that's what I originally had P times R with T. And then I was like, maybe I read that wrong.
Yep, I think they want interest in 1 year is P times R. And then if we had it for T years, it would be P times R times T. Yep.
Right.
Your first thought was right. Then if we go back to what we did, so that's what we did to get these, right? We basically did the interest, P, R, and T, and the PR was our 30. Right, when we got our $30 interest. But then to get our total value column, what did we have to do after we got our interest for the years at that point? What did we have to do to get the value in the account?
Add the 600.
Okay, so we had to add back that P, right?
Mhm.
So we can do that here. We can say the P originally plus the interest, which is PRT. Or we can say P plus I if we want to just say P plus interest. And anybody try 3? Try to figure out how much is there in 30 years. Hmm. So it's good to form some habits of what we know, kind of writing them off to the side. And we know T is 30. So A is the mystery, right? A is the piece we don't know to find the future value. So A is equal to 600 plus 600 times 0.05 times 30. So how much interest did we earn then?
$300.
Did you do the 600 times 0.05 times 30?
Oh, no.
The
Is it 1,500?
total we earned 1,500. We had 1,500 in our account, right? But part of that's the 600. So I think Darla had hers from the 10 years. So the 10 years we earned 300 in interest. What about for the 30 years that they have here? How much interest did we have?
900.
That must have been the 900. Okay. So excellent. So they're having us take this formula that I think works just fine, but they want us to simplify it. So on number 4, it says the right side of your answer in question 2, which is that, has 2 terms. And so we're kind of talking algebra, but it's not really necessary. Use some algebra to rewrite the formula so that it has just 1 term. The result should look like the principal amount P times some quantity. So because these 2 terms both share a P, we can write the P out front and say, what did we distribute the P to? So this first P is being multiplied by an imaginary 1. So we can say there's the 1 left plus the P, the RT after we pull after we pull this P out. So if we distributed this P back, kind of like we're distributing newspaper, we would be back to the P plus PRT. It's just kind of getting us to the formulas here in the purple, essentially. So the first formula is the interest formula that we created on the other side, PRT. And then the future value formula is principal plus interest, if we know what that is. If not, then we can use the little formula that we just created up above, the principal, and then parentheses 1 plus rate times time, which is similar to what we did back in unit 2.1 with the simple interest rate. P was like our starting value that we had. And then we added 1 plus whatever the rate was times years. And then I'm going to write, or we can just use the one that we had on the page prior to this, that was just P plus PRT. So thinking of it like that works just fine. So go ahead and attempt number 5. It's a guess, and then you're gonna go to number 6. So 5 is a guess, and then we're going to number 6. Guessing how much interest would be due. Anybody have a guess without working it out?
I had to stop because I was trying to work it out.
I take a guess, just looking at the
Let's
numbers.
see.
What's our guess?
Let's see here. 4 times 12 is 48. $32.
Okay. You have a guess of $32. I had guessed 800 earlier. The 4 times the 2000, somewhere in there, I thought maybe there'd be an 8, some zeros, I don't know. There's a guess. You have a guess, Darla? Or Shelby, want to type a guess? No guess? Okay.
I'm still working.
Okay, do your guess, do your guess. I'm gonna let everybody do their guess. Because it's just a guess, you can't be wrong.
Mhm.
Andy, what are you studying again, business?
Me? Respiratory therapy.
For some reason, I thought that, but I couldn't remember. Did you already apply for the program?
No, I'm applying next year because yesterday was my anniversary date. I'm officially in the last 12 months of work.
No. Oh, yeah, because you're at the prison, right? You gotta wait till you're done. And then you actually
Yeah.
retire?
Yeah, 25 years and that will be a full retirement.
Wow.
So then
And
I'll
you can
do,
and you can take that now? You'll start getting paid that now? That is so amazing.
yeah, when I hired in, it was 25 and age 55, but I hired in at 21s and it did change. So but people
Wow.
that hire in now, that's not what they get.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay. Shelby and Darla, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to go past our guesses. Okay.
I feel like I didn't do this right because I'm not getting numbers like that.
Well,
So
did you guess?
ready to hear
Did you just guess?
yes.
What was your guess?
I got that it would be $20 in interest and our total would be 2020 for
You
what
were
year?
supposed to figure it out all the way.
Oh,
You just-
sorry.
You just
I guess that's why it
ruined
took me so long.
You just
I'm
ruined
so
Christmas.
sorry.
Just kidding. You didn't ruin Christmas. Okay, well, Shelby blew it. She told us how to do it. It's okay. So it says use formulas to find the interest paid and the future value. So let's do the interest. And I like to write the formula each time just to remind me what it is. So we're trying to find the interest. The principal is
2,000.
2,000. Thanks. I just put my paper down. And the rate was 4%.
Mhm.
And time was 10 years? No. No, it's the 3
Uh,
months right here. The 3 months.
3 months.
Oh, so that's where it says how many months does 3 months, how many years does 3 months correspond to? So 3 months, we could do a little unit exchange and multiply by 1 year, right?
Mhm.
12 months. And our months cancel. And so that would be 3 out of 12 or 0.25 years. So our years is 0.25 years. So if we multiply all these together in Desmos. Yeah, I'll get it in Desmos. I was gonna go there, but it's taking me forever to get a new one open.
I think my educated guess was pretty good then.
It was. So 2,000 parentheses 0.04 parentheses 0.25. Did everybody get $20 is my interest?
Mhm.
Yes.
Did you get that, Darla? Give me a thumbs up. If not, we can go back over it. Okay, she's good with that. Okay, then it says we also want to find the future value, A, right? And the future value is our principal plus our interest, which we just found.
So that's
So,
2,020.
yeah, so 2,000 plus 20 is $2,020. Awesome. There's a solved example down here that I don't think we really need to go through the whole thing. You can always go back over it. But it gives us a different scenario. And the difference is this is the years is 1.5. So they want us to get used to putting things that aren't whole integer years. So 1.5 would be T is 1.5. Other than that, it's numbers that we had before or similar, not the numbers we had before, but a similar situation. But I would like to go through the example number 2 because it's a little bit different. So on page 260, it says Phillips Health and Beauty Spa is replacing one of its workstations. The interest on a loan secured by the spa was $93.50. The money was borrowed at 5.5% simple interest for 2 years. What was the amount that they borrowed? Okay.
Okay.
So they wrote out the interest, I is 93.5. The rate was 5.5%, so it's 0.055. And the loan was for 2 years. So that's T. So I recommend writing the formula like they did. And then they filled in what they knew. They knew I, they did not know P. They knew what their interest rate was and how many years they were going to take to borrow it, to pay it off. So whenever what you're solving for has other values attached to it. So in this case, P, R, and T are being multiplied. So to solve for P, we're going to divide away these numbers. So notice that 9350 is going to divide by 0.055 and 2 to get the principal must have been $850 that we borrowed. So now we are going to follow the solved example 2 as a useful tool to help us. So number 1 says, after receiving an inheritance, a newly married couple invested $15,250 for 10 years and received $9,150 in simple interest. What was the rate that the investment paid? Use the framework from self-example 2, so there's strategy right here, and show all of your work. Write your answer in the form of a sentence. So they invested. So invested tells me that that's P. 15,250. And the rate was, we don't know.
Unknown.
That's the question mark. And T was 10 years, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And they earned, they know the interest, they earned 9,150. So they earned a lot of interest. And that's on top of their investment. Wow. So let's go ahead and put in the pieces that we do know. Not sure how to do this. So if we follow the model up above, 9150 is all by itself and it's going to stay like that. It's pulling the other pieces to its side. So 9150. And because we're trying to solve for R right here, we have to divide away these values because we are currently multiplying by them. So we're going to divide away 15,250 and then 10, and they're being multiplied together. So they have to be multiplied together in the denominator. Okay, that's an important part. You could multiply them first if you wanted to. Some people.
That's what I did.
Yes, so still remember some of their algebra, and that works just fine. But this is kind of our basic way. I'm going to just show how to type this in Desmos because this can get a little tricky. So in Desmos, we're going to type 9150 divided by 15,250. And now if I hit times right there, it's still in the denominator. Okay. This is what it should look like. I'll wait if everybody wants to try it. If I did times here, that's not correct. I don't want it to times at the end. I want it to times down here. So we get 0.06, 0.06 or 6%. So we see how I got that? I'll make sure everybody. Carla, are you good on that one? On your little fandangled thing there she's got there? Yeah, her iPad, that's what it is. I couldn't think. Okay. Okay, 6%. So let's use that and see what they want us to do in number 7. Sorry, number 2. I don't know why I said number 7. I don't know why I said number 7. Number 2.
I was wondering.
So if that couple had been able to find a 9% interest rate, woo, can you imagine how much money they would? But it says if they found the 9% interest rate, how much more quickly? So they're asking us about time. How much more quickly would they have made that 9,115 simple interest? Use a framework from example 2 again. Write your answer in a full sentence. We did not do that last time.
I noticed that.
So on this one, we should have written some kind of a sentence. If the couple invested their 15,250 for 10 years and earned $9,150. They had a 6% rate. That would be a good explanation for that one. If the couple invested their money for 10 years and earned $9,150, they had a 6% rate. Okay, now back to this one. So this time we know all the pieces and we know the rate. The thing that we're missing is the T. So let's do our formula again. 9150, 15,250. But this time we know the 9%, we just don't know T. So how are we going to do this one?
Pretty much the same as the last one. We're just using a different variable.
Okay, so we're going to divide by those extra pieces. So we're going to divide away this chunk right here. 15,250 times 0.09 equals T. And what do we find for T?
I got like 6.6667 or 6 2/3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, putting that into Desmos. But now it did ask us how much more quickly.
Oh, yeah.
I think they want us to compare to the time it took in problem number 1.
That was 10 years. So I would say 3 years, 4 months quicker.
So about 3.3. If the couple could get 9% rate, then they could make $9,150, 3.3 years quicker, if that's a word. Wowzer, that's a big difference in years.
Yeah.
Okay. Now they're walking us through, kind of leading us up to something special. I'm gonna let you ladies read through this for a minute and pause it. And then you get an idea of what they're trying to get us to think about.
That you're losing money.
And something else. So number 3, hopefully everybody read this. It says, forget about the original amount. Just think of the 1,030 in your account at the end of year 1 as a new investment. That's our new P. If you get $30 of interest in the next year, what percentage did you actually get? So I'm gonna write my formula. And I know that my interest was a whopping $30. My new principal is 1,030. My rate, I don't know. And T was 1 year. Because we're just going 1 year. Okay, so to find my rate, I'm going to take 30, following example 2, and divide by that, and the 1 doesn't matter. So my R. So what does my rate come out to be?
2.9%.
So not quite the 3%, right, that we were hoping to earn.
Sounds like they're making money.
So that's what happens with simple interest, right? You only got the $30, but you didn't really get, you're only getting 3% on the original 1,000. It's a 2.9%. Any questions on that one so far? Okay.
Nope.
Then it says, if you'd actually been paid the full 3% on your 1,030 in the second year, how much more interest would you have earned? How much more interest? So we need to do some kind of a comparison. So we started with 1,030, and if we were supposed to earn 3% for that 1 year, right? Anybody?
30.9.
7.9. Darla, Shelby, you guys agree with that? 30.9, $30.90.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
So how much more money would they have earned if they would have got the full 3%?
90 cents.
They would.
Some nice cheap. He
earn
was talking to some guy.
90 cents more. Okay. Following up on question 4, how much interest would you earn in the third year if you get 3% on the new amount again? So first we have to find our new amount. After 2 years, right? Was 1,030. So my new P is 1,030 plus my 3090. $10.60.90. So that's my new P. So my interest is 10.60.90 times 0.03. If we get the full 3% for that 1 year. So I'm going to type 1060.90 times 0.03. And we would have earned $31.83, rounded correctly.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep, that's what I got.
Me too.
excellent. And a thumbs up from Darla. Okay. So you can see that we're missing out. It doesn't seem like much, but it adds up, right? So it says, we'll take up this discussion in the next lesson. For now, refer back to these questions when answering the first question in the looking ahead section of the portfolio, which we're not doing that. But we're not doing that part. But we are going to, there are some good extension problems. So do you want to take like a quick 5-minute tidy or a couple minute tidy? And we're gonna come back. Everybody has this down. We're gonna come back and I'm gonna pause the recording, but when we come back, we're going to do page 265. It's in the schedule of problems that we're working on. Anybody that watches the video, there's 2 videos for 3-1, and this is the second video. So there's problems 1 through 9 and shouldn't take us too long, but they kind of extend our learning a little bit.
Okay.
So we'll do just a couple minute tidy.
Oh, I'd be excited.
Yeah. So let's do these extension problems. So some of the most common and most dangerous examples of simple interest are short-term payday loans, which some lenders also call cash advances. So it's not like a cash advance on a credit card though. Let's say that you're going to get paid in 10 days and you need some cash for a car repair now. A payday lender might lend you $350 now, and you'll be asked to pay them back when your paycheck comes. Of course, you'll have to pay interest. The median fee charged by these types of lenders is $15 for every $100 borrowed. So we're going to use that as our base of how we're going to pay. How much would you have to pay back in 10 days? How much do you have to pay back?
All right, so. So 350 is our P.
Well, you could think of it like that. Yeah, it's total payback. We've got what we borrowed, right? Which is the 350 plus the fees. So we have to figure out how much the fees are.
Oh. So 350 divided by 15 added to the 350.
350 divided by the 15. We could do could we do a little unit exchange with the borrowed? So we have 350 we borrowed, right? And this is kind of like a unit exchange. For every $100 we borrowed, we owe 15. So it could be 15 fee for every 100 borrowed. Would that work? So cross out the borrowed. So we really have 350 divided by 100. We have 3.5 of these hundreds, right? That we have to pay back. What does that come out to be?
$52.50.
52.50.
You'd have to pay back $402.50.
There you go. $402.50. It says, what is the percent interest you charged? You're charged. I didn't charge anybody. They're charging us. So the percent interest would be the fee, right? The interest, which was 52.50. is equal to what we borrowed, 350. We don't know the rate, and it was only, well, I'm gonna worry about the time. We're gonna pretend like it's 1 year for now. So if we take just our fees and divide by our principal that we borrowed, what does that come out to be?
%15%.
Yep. Well, 15%. And like I said, that's if we pretend that it was only a year, right? Did we borrow for a whole year?
10 days.
10 days. So do we think that real interest rate was more or less than 15%?
More.
Yeah, more. Because we didn't borrow it for a full year. We only borrowed it not even for barely over a week. Okay, so you can do 3 if you want, but if we think like we did, remember when we invested the money a couple pages ago and it was for 3 months out of a year? We could think of this like that, right? Because this is 10 days out of a year.
Mhm.
So let's think about that. So if we had interest is 350 times our rate, which we don't know, right? And our time was 10 days. So last time we divided by 12 because it was 3 months out of 12 months, but this should be 10 days out of
365.
365. Oh, and our interest was 5250. We know that. So 5250 divided by 350, and then the 10 divided by 365. It's going to share my screen here. So 10 divided by 365 is 0.0274. Is our rate. So 5250 divided by 350 times 0.0274. Sorry, 350, 5250. Holy smokes. 5.4744, but when we turn it into a percentage,
547.
yes. 547%. Because you're paying $52.50 to borrow it for 10 days and you only borrowed $350. So that's, I mean, there are situations where people need to use those loans and that's why they're available, but if you figure it out for the time that you're really borrowing it, it's exorbitant amounts. Because 15% seems high, but that is ridiculous.
That's nuts.
Yeah. So it says, discuss how good or bad a deal you're getting. Well, it's a bad deal, but if you're in that situation, right, and if you don't have family or friends or somebody that you could borrow it to help you out, or if the place that you were getting your car fixed wouldn't let you make payments or something or wait, then, I mean, sometimes you just don't have another choice, unfortunately. Credit cards are a better deal than that if you can do that instead. Okay, if needed, that is, sometimes it has to be used. Okay. It's not really good. Okay, the last set of problems that we're gonna look at are another example of some simple interest, but it's called the certificate of deposit. I've never actually purchased one. Has anybody here ever purchased a CD? You have? Okay. How long did you leave yours sit there?
I actually did two.
Mm,
We had, when we got married, we took the money that we got and we put that into, oh my gosh, I can't remember. We did two. One was like 18 months and one was like 2 or 3 years, but
wow.
we had different amounts. And so it was really nice because the one ended up being a nice deposit on our house.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Well, CDs, you can read in here, it's a pretty secure investment, meaning that they promise they're going to pay you this interest rate. It doesn't change. They can't back out on it. And so it's a great way to, if you have money that you don't need to touch for a particular amount of time, the longer you're willing to let it sit there, or if you get like a 5-year or even a 10-year or 20-year or whatever, they're going to guarantee you a higher interest rate because you can't touch it until that time is up. So it says for a $2,500 investment, how much more interest would you earn if you chose Live Oak Bank or Sallie Mae? So let's see, here's Live Oak Bank. It says right here, we're going to use the column that says APY. It's the annual percentage yield. That's the column we're going to use here. And so we've got Live Oak compared to Sallie Mae. And so our interest is 2,500.
0.85 to 2.75. Live Oaks is better.
We should be able to tell that, right? But they want us to figure out how much more interest, so how much more money. So we have to figure out the interest, the amount of money. But you're right. We should get more from the Live Oak than the Sallie Mae. Like it's 0.1, right? 0.1% better.
Mhm.
0.0285, and we're just gonna say for 1 year. And then Sallie Mae is 2,500 times 0.0275 times 1 year. Times 0.0. So what did we get? I'm gonna share my screen so we can see my Desmos work. So there's my Live Oak. We earned 71.25. And then Sallie Mae, we earned 68.75. So 71.25 minus 68.75. So we earned $2.50 more.
Woo.
Not a huge difference, but every little penny counts, right?
It'd be a big difference. It was more than 1 year.
That's true. It would be. Okay. So next up says, if your goal was to earn $80 in interest on your $2,500 investment, what interest rate would you need to find? So definitely need a bigger interest rate to be able to earn $80 compared to 71 or 68, right? So we want to earn $80 interest.
3.2.
3.2 is what you came up with. Everybody agree with that?
Yeah, that's what I got.
The 80
Yep.
by, okay. Sounds good. So we would need 3.2%. If you got the interest rate that Synchrony Bank was offering for a different length of time, how long would you need to invest in order to get that $80 you have your heart set on? Okay.
Your heart said
My heart's set on the $80.
$80. Oh, baby.
So we need the $80 and let's see.
So they're offering 2.8.
Yeah, I can't get close enough today. My it's not good in the dark here. My room is terribly lit for this situation. Okay, so now we got to do our technique here, right? Where we divide by 2,500. We also have to have 0.28 in the denominator as well to get that rate. Right. 0.028, right?
Yeah.
Aren't we looking for time, not rate?
We are looking for time. Thank you. Just gonna make that R a T. That's what I was getting for spending all my time trying to read the numbers. Thank you for catching that. Thank you for catching that. So how long do we have to sit it? How long do we have to leave it sit there?
A little over a year, 1.14 is what I had.
I'm just gonna share. Here's my Desmos work. If everybody wants to know how to type it in their account, 80. So 1.14 years. And last time, oopsie. So as you can see, CDs don't return a ton of interest. What they do offer is a guaranteed return. Suppose that you also have the opportunity to invest that $2,500 in a business venture that promised 12.5% return in 1 year, unless the company fails to turn a profit. Then you don't win, you don't get anything back. Oh. I'm assuming you still get your money, right?
Mhm.
Calculate the amount of interest you'd get and discuss whether you prefer the risky investment over the CD. Okay. So what kind of interest, sweet moolah, would we make if we got 12.5%?
$312.50.
That's what I got.
812?
3.
Oh, I was gonna say.
312.
And 50 cents.
812 would be nice though.
I know.
I was
like,
gonna say that
wow.
too.
I don't remember being that big this morning when we did it. 312. And what do y'all think? Would you go for the risky or would you go with the safe bet?
I need to know more about the company I'm investing in, I think.
Yeah.
And I think, it depends on the time of your life. If you're older and more settled and you have some money that you're like, well, we could try this investment and see how it goes. It might be worth it, but I haven't gotten to that time in my life where I'm ready to do that. Chilly in this room. Any questions so far from anyone?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
Not even 7:30. You ladies want to work on your worksheet? On your 3.1 worksheet? Oh, I didn't give you the lesson check, did I?
No,
Oh, no.
I already did mine.
Good job. While we were sitting here,
Yeah, as soon as we did it, I looked ahead to find out what it was.
good job. So the lesson check is number 6 on page 259 for those on the recording. So number 6 it is this right here. It's the 2020. It's the total future value. That's the lesson check. So if you get your lesson check done, we can start our worksheet. Put that there.
I just want to know why my family's always asking me for money. Just kidding.
Mine too. Where did your son move, Sandy?
He went down with his, he